What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Raven Invest. I'm Sean, aka Raven, and today I wanted to have a quick look at the sales history in COMC and how I use it when I buy my cards. I think it's very important, and unfortunately, one of the cons of COMC is their sales transparency. It's definitely not on par with StarStock and eBay, but there are many other reasons why I like COMC, so we learn how to work with it, and I'm going to show you today how I use that to buy my cards. So I don't know if you've noticed as well, I've got a headset on tonight. Basically, I'm forced to record my videos after everybody's gone to bed just because of the noise level. Probably within the next month or so, I'll probably be moving into my own room. So I'll have my little YouTube room where I can cut videos whenever I want. So to save me from having to do the late night videos, I've popped on the headset. That way it cancels out all the noise around me and I can just do the video. So for probably the next few videos, we'll be wearing the headset there. So hopefully that works out. And then hopefully I'll be in my own room here and be able to go on forward. So first there, so as I said, we're going to look over the sales here, but at first I wanted to, let me click onto it. I was able to pick up a couple of good cards, I think, this week. I sold 4 of my Calvin Ridley Donruss base cards. And with that, I was able to pick up this very nice Calvin Ridley Premier Level Select for $4.93. I think that's a great deal for that card. I think Calvin Ridley doesn't get much love in the hobby, and I think he should. I think he's a phenomenal player. He should be at the top end prices, but he's just not because of where he plays, and the Falcons have not been a very strong team. But I'm very happy with him as a player, and I think it's just a matter of time before Atlanta gets their act together, and they're able to, rise to the occasion, get back to those NFC title games and such. So anyway, I was very happy to pick that up. So with the sale of those 4 cards and the profit, I was able to pick up a few more cards here. And I'm picking up some LaVisca here because I think he's going to pop right around the draft after Trevor Lawrence officially becomes a Jaguar. So I wanted to pick up a few more, and I thought they were pretty good. I don't have a ton of canvas, but I was able to snag actually I just bought another one tonight there. I was able to pick up 2 of them, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then this Brandon Ayuk, I think he's a fantastic player, and 38 cents is good for me. I'll take that any day of the week. These Lynn Bowdens are super speculative. I just think Tua's going to have a bunch of hype. Miami's going to be a good team this year. I think they can, if they were able to do it last year, they're going to be able to do it this year, hopefully. And I think they'll be able to maybe secure a playoff. And I think he might have a part of it. So we'll see. Yeah, it's super speculative. Like I'm not expecting Lynn Bowden. He's not going to be the next Jerry Rice, but for 23 cents for his card, I don't need him to be the Jerry Rice. I need him to be part of a potent offense that's getting lots of headlines, and those cards should be able to sell for no problem. But that's not really why we're here. As I said, I wanted to go over a recent purchase that I made and kind of the thought process of using the sales. I believe it was George and I were having a kind of little chat in the comments there about, he was mentioning that you'll see on COMC that where the lowest card is such a big gap between the second lowest and the lowest card, that you can buy the lowest card, reprice it under the second lowest card and make some money. Right, there's plenty. I've seen that plenty of times. There's tons of those opportunities. The thing is, you got to be very wary of the sales. Right, the sales history has to be there to back it. There has to be some sales, some regular sales on it to be able to be. Otherwise, you're just gonna, there's a reason why he dropped it down to that price, because it wasn't selling. And I've done this before. I've bought a card that was half or even more than half the price of the remainder of the cards I bought it. I, jacked up the price just below the second lowest card, and it's still sitting there. I haven't sold it because I didn't pay attention to the sales data. I didn't look at that. So now in those instances, I'm extra critical on the sales data. So the card I want to look at that I purchased here was MVP Mitch. I guess they call him Magic Mitch. Okay. He's now in Buffalo. He's not a starter anymore. I realize that. I know that. Buffalo's probably going to be a playoff team. Maybe the Bills are able to help him turn his career around like they helped no, I'm not saying he's as talented as Josh Allen, but maybe they can help him succeed and make him a better quarterback, whatever the case may be. The reason why I got this card was because first it was $1.50. Okay, so for a backup quarterback that's been a starter, $1.50 for an optic. Like I was paying $1.10, $1.20 for Gardner Minshew, just based on us. So this is an optic. Again, I know a lot of people are down on Trubisky and they're going to joke around with him, but I was able to buy this card at $1.50, apply my 255% rule on it, and I'm still on the first page of the sales, and I'm still within what the sales data suggests, a range that I could sell the card fairly quickly. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go have a look at that now. So we'll actually go look into the card. So the next lowest card on there without the sale on is $270. So when I got mine for $150, so I was able to turn around and apply my $255. So now I'm reselling it at $395. Now once this guy's sale out, this Chadley sale runs out in a couple days, and you know what, he can run a continuous sale. That's fine, not the end of the world. But then I will be now in the fourth position. So now if we pop over to the sales chart, so what we have here is I've broken down all the sales from the website and kind of displayed them out, broke them down, massaged the data to get kind of what I need here. So there's been 508 total sales since this card's been available on COMC. 54.56% of those sales have come after the first quarter of 2020. Okay, so more than half of these sales have come in the last year and a half-ish, little over a year. So I went down and I broke each. So these were the sales for each quarter, and then I've also highlighted here what the quarters represent, the months and the year of what they represent. So we see quarter 3 of 2020, that is the beginning of last season. So that's July, August, September. Unfortunately, I'm not able to tell you whether it was July, August, or September, but I know during that period there was 104 sales of this card. Now, what we look at this data now, I'm not necessarily doing this particular exercise on paper for every card. I've got to the point where I can kind of look at it and make a decision from the sales data itself. I'm doing this in kind of breakdown in my head. It's not perfect, but I'm getting a rough idea of it, and it just saves me a little bit of time, because if I want to do this for every card, I have to come in and punch the numbers in and look at, so I kind of, after a while, I kind of learned how to, do it in my head. But this is the kind of process I'm going through. So if we look at the lowest period of time, we're not counting quarter 2 now because we're 18 days into the quarter 2 of 2021. So in the slowest time for this card at the beginning of 2020 last year, there was a sale every 4 days, right? So if you look at that, at the very lowest time, you're looking at about 12 days to sell your card in the 4th position. 16 days to sell it in the 4th position. Now, obviously, that is just an average. That's not, there wasn't every day there wasn't a sale. There may have been no sales for 3 of the months, and then the last month there might have been a sale. Obviously, I can't tell that because it's not provided for me, and there's no way that I can probably figure that out. So what I have to do is take the data that they give me. So now I'm looking, so at the slowest time, we're looking at a card every first day, every 4 days, and at the highest peak, we're looking at a card a day. So to me, depending on how I'm, like if I don't want to hold this card for 6 months, then I definitely need to pay attention to this charts and see where I'm at. So for me to buy that and be able to get it in the 4th position, so right now we're on pace right now to every 4 days. So not the fact that it's not an actual, we're not guaranteed every 4 days we're going to make a sale. We could have 3 sales in a row and then none for the rest of whatever the case may be. So I'm looking at, so I would take this and I would say, okay, so roughly 16 days to sell 4 cards on the site at this pace. So I'm looking at probably 30 days before this card sells. Now, this number may drop lower because we're only in the first quarter. But at the worst time, it was equal to that, right? The current pace matches the worst quarter that this card has had. So if I take that in consideration, that'll maybe means that I have to hold it on in a month. Now, if there's something that happens that Josh Allen all of a sudden decides to sit out because of COVID or something like that, something outrageous like that, then that's definitely going to alter the atmosphere of this card. But if we look at the current trends, how it's been, we can, and you know what, maybe in a month I'll check back and I'll see, or I'll tell you, hey, you know what, it took me 12 days to sell this card at this price, this and that. So anyway, again, I'm trying not to make these videos too long unless I really have to, go into hyper details on a subject. But this is kind of what goes through my mind when I'm looking at a card, and especially when there's a card that it's not necessarily a targeted player, but it looks like a good opportunity because of the gap between the first and second card for sale. So anyway, I hope that, guys, everybody's able to understand kind of my process there. And leave a comment there if you have any questions, or you have a particular way that you look at these different sales and interpret them. And if these are the kind of videos that you guys like, please give the video a like, show the channel some love, and why not subscribe at the same time. We have lots of content here. I'm trying to put out as much content as I can. I'm looking at having maybe some breaks in the future, maybe some giveaways for subscriber levels achievement, things like that. So, it'd be an interesting channel over the next couple of months. Maybe I'll try and see if I can coax a few live guests on here. Yeah. Anyway, thanks very much for joining, and until next time, hope everyone stays safe.